So welcome to NYC RISE. I wanted to give you a very brief overview that's not the same as the full orientation, but just to give you a sense of what the data system collects and where you can find useful resources. So first, you can come to nyc-rise.org, and that will get you to the login screen of NYC RISE. Without even having accounts or logging in, you can get to a variety of tools. The first step will be for you to request user accounts. And to do that, if you go to the orientation materials link here, that will take you to a Google folder. And in there, we have the third item, NYC RISE multiple user request sheet. This is a spreadsheet. Depending on how you get here, you may see a use template, big blue button up here in the upper right corner, or you can just make a copy. But basically, you need to make a copy so you have your own version, and I would do that under File, Make a Copy. The request needs to come from the program manager. So that information would go in here, and then we need first name, last name, cell phone number, and an email address, how folks would like to get their multi-factor authentication so they can choose between email or cell phone, your agency's name, and security level. So there are two levels of security: full access, read only. Majority of programs have been giving all their users full access, but you have that option of a read only level if you want to give that to someone else in your program. Once you fill this out, you're going to send it to me. It's really helpful if you put your organization name in the name of the file. You can download it and send it to me as an Excel spreadsheet, or send me a link where I can view it. Make sure I can view it. So that's step one, is to request your user accounts. We will have orientation for all new staff, but in case you want to go in and look at it, we have an orientation video, slides, a user manual. These are all being kind of updated, but they will give you the basic sense of what needs to happen. We've also created intake forms. None of these are required. No one is going to come to your program and ask to see any of these. These are created to help you internally to collect the data that needs to then go in the system. So we have agency information form, new service enrollment or exit form, new service form, and student intake form. I know a lot of you will be doing intake already, so student intake form might be a good one to look at. Probably you're already capturing all of this data. It's not, I don't think there's much that's unusual, and it's usually less than many of the other required data collections that you might have. So we have, for students, we need a first name, last name, date of birth. The funding source in this case, we'll be telling you what that is, but so you don't need to worry about that. Gender identity, ethnicity, languages spoken at home, if they're native in their own language, or sorry, literate in their own language. And we actually ask that question a little differently. I think we say, would they benefit from instruction in their native language in the system? Are they a student? Are they a parent or guardian of a child under 21? Educational background, and we've updated this a little bit. I think we don't say, we say some college, things like that. So we'll be fixing this, but we've updated that since we created these. And then basic contact information. And this is where maybe programs have struggled the most. Once you take this data and put it in the system, NYC RISE will automatically identify the city council district associated with this address. And some addresses are written in a way that's not recognized. You'll still be able to save the student, but you'll need to come back at some point and fix that. You may have students that are not actually in New York City or don't live in a city council district, and that's also fine. There's a report that will pull all the folks that don't have a city council district. And if that's correct, that's correct. But if they should have one, because they do live in the 5 boroughs, then we need to help fix anybody who's somehow not automatically, the system doesn't automatically identify the city council district. And that's it. So that's the only data you need to capture for your students. And you don't have to use this form. This is just if you don't have another form, you could use this one. But if you're already capturing this from somewhere else, if you have a lot of students that you're enrolling in another system or using another system, we have worked with programs to take an Excel spreadsheet template. You can download your data from a different data system and then upload it. Just the student data that works for. It's a very precise system. You have to really match the fields for it to work, and that can take some work. But if you do feel like this is an arduous process because you're entering a lot of students for a second or third time, that is an option. And to learn more about that, reach out to Venu. All right, so that's an example. I'm not going to take you through the other forms, but you know where they are and they're worth checking out. The agency information, again, often the person filling out the agency, the data system data is not someone who necessarily knows all of these things. So that might be something that a program manager fills out, and then the data entry person can take that information and put it into the system. Okay, so once you have your user account, you will be prompted. So when you request a user account, within 24 hours, we will create that user account. Users will receive an email. That's why we need the email address to let them know the process has started, and they'll be asked to click on a link to make their password. They have 48 hours to click on that link. The link will no longer be valid after 48 hours. But if they miss that 48-hour window, they can always come here, put in their username, and click on Forgot Password. And it will say same process that is initiated by that original email. So they can always do that. They're going to be asked to create their their password, and then they should be able to log in. So to log in, you'll use your username. Usernames are usually not an email address. Historically, mine is Nell_E. It's usually a combination of name and last name. And then you'll be putting in your password. We recommend that you don't save that in the browser just because that is a jeopardy. You're vulnerable then to someone coming by your computer and just being able to log into your data system. I'm going to click the login. We use multi-factor authentication. You can click this box, and then for 7 days, you won't have to repeat this multi-factor authentication, but every 7 days you will. If you log in on a different browser or a different computer, that will nullify this. And the next time you come back to this computer, you'll get the one-time passcode notification again. I'm going to check my email, and it comes usually pretty quickly. So if you're not seeing it, you'll want to contact us. Maybe we have the wrong email address, or who knows, something weird could be happening. Okay, so coming back. And I'm going to go ahead and click on remember this device for 7 days. I'm going to verify my OTP. Yay, I'm in. So you'll see that the same basic resources and news are available to you here once you're logged in. Your account is going to be up here. You can check your profile. If you chose to get your multi-factor authentication sent to, if we come down here, when you request the user account, this will be part of the request. If you decide you want it to come to your text message as a text message instead of an email, you can come here to change that once you're in. If you use the wrong password and you get locked out, you can contact me and I can unlock people. Otherwise, it's, I think, 12 or 24 hours to unlock. That only happens if you try logging in like 3 or 4 times with the wrong password. So that's your profile, and this is also where you can log out. Then the general way that you move through NYC RISE is over here on the left side. We have a home screen where we started off. We have organization. And then on the organization page, you also move across the top. Most programs are going to fill out most of this information at the beginning of the year. but you can always come back and change it. Maybe you get a new site, you change investments, you can add outcomes, all those things. The wait list is the one thing in this section that we would recommend you come to once a month. The wait list is really a way to identify unmet need. So it will show all the services that you're currently offering, and you can put in a number under each month to indicate how many people wanted that service but couldn't access it because it was full, or you weren't enrolling new people, or it didn't work with their schedule, whatever reason they could not attend. The goal here is that City Council wants to know where there's unmet needs. So if they're seeing that, across the board, ESL classes have huge numbers of people coming every month that can't get into that ESL class, then that helps them know to put funding there. Programs have sometimes been a little bit frustrated because you don't know yet when someone comes in if it's going to be ESL level 1 or 2. It's okay. Just figure, you can decide how you want to put them in here. But it should be based on some real data, like real people came in. Again, we don't expect anyone to come and ask you to see your wait list, but you should have like a logic to how you gathered it. And the key here is you'll also be able to report to us if you find that level 1 is particularly under-resourced, like you would like to be able to offer that a lot more. You could put all your ESL numbers in there, but you can also let us know that, because that is actually something that we can then highlight in the reports that we end up sending to City Council. So that's the purpose of the wait list, and that is under the agency or the organization tab section on the side here. Then we have outcomes. So in the organization data, when you create an outcome, these outcomes are, if you're going to create one, there's a category. The category is a set list of things. And you would click on that and then write whatever the outcome is. So if it's immigrant rights, maybe they attended an immigrant, know your rights workshop, and the outcome could be that they feel more comfortable being out in public, or that they completed know your rights training, or whatever it is that you want is the outcome here. And then you can save the outcome, and once it's saved here, when you come over to the outcome area, you'll be able to find that outcome here and assign it to an individual person, or go to a service and see all the people enrolled in that service. And again, this is sounding a lot more complicated than it is, but just know that you originate the outcomes in the organization tab, and this is the place where you apply them to individual people. Services. Services are classes, they are workshops, they are case management meetings. This is how you can organize anything where you want to be able to see a group of people who are all receiving a certain kind of service. And again, when you're adding a new service, there's some basic information that you have to put in here. And there's a weekly schedule that, if that pertains to your service, like if it's a once a month workshop, you don't necessarily need to do this. But if it's a class that meets regularly, then we ask that you do fill this out. And then you can enroll students once you've created it. And this is also where you can put in attendance. And attendance, if I go back out to my services and I look at one of my services here, so the way that I go in to edit or add new information under a service is I click on the little blue pencil. And now I can go to attendance, and we are just asking for the number of sessions that each person attended in a month. So this is not hours, and it's not weekly. It's one number per month, and that's the number of sessions that that individual attended. So in this case, David Bowie attended one session in October, and maybe this is a case management. They only meet once a month, so that's totally legitimate, right? If it was an ESL class that met 3 times a week, then we're going to probably have 15 or 12 session possible. And did the student come every time? So that's what we're looking for, just the number of sessions they attended. Then under students, you can come in here and edit look at students individually. You can enroll them in a service from here. You can see their attendance, but you can't edit it here. So the attendance can only be managed under services. You can enter their test scores if you're using Best Plus and TABE, and we'll see maybe CASAS will be included here at some point. And so if you are using Best Plus or TABE, you don't have to report educational gain as an outcome. If you're not using those assessments, but you are capturing educational gain, then you can include that in the outcome section. But this again is where I could do individual assigning of outcomes. So in the third section over here, I would use that mostly if I was going to look at a group of folks all attending the same service, and then go in and give each individual one who should get it their outcome and the outcome date. Here's where I would come if I'm going in to look at individual people and give it individuals outcomes. And that's really it. Then we have reports, and the reports are all Excel spreadsheets that you download, and the summary reports don't include any individual student information, and that's the kind of report that City Council can access. For you, so for example, we have a services classes summary that would list all the services and classes that are offered, but it wouldn't tell you and how many people are enrolled, but it wouldn't tell you the names or any information about the individual student. Services detail report will give you much more information. So you have access to that to make sure that your data is accurate. And there are currently 11 reports, and this might change. We got some feedback, so maybe we'll be adding some other ones. So you would select the report and then download the report. And as I say, it will come up as an Excel spreadsheet, and then you could sort that Excel spreadsheet. You can do anything you want with that data. Achievements is the last piece, and that is really an opportunity for you if you want to let us know about a special achievement that either your program or students made during the year. You can add a title to it. You can select whether it's a student or program achievement. You can put in your description, and you can add photos or links out to show more. And this is something that we use to help when we write up our reports. Sierra mostly does that work, and she can pull this information and include it in the reports that we send to City Council. You can always contact us if you want to ask whether you should put it in here or whatever, but this is a place where you certainly can put any kind of achievement like that in. And yeah. Okay, so that's the basic lay of the land. I will be working in the next couple of weeks to update some of those intake forms, but they work for now, especially the student one. The basic information is there. I'm just going to fix it so that it more correlates with the stuff you'll see on the screen. But there are only a few items that the items on the screen are a little differently worded than the ones in the form. Yeah, and feel free to reach out. Like I said, we will do orientation training probably in the next couple of weeks, or we'll see. But you can always reach out to me. We have done special trainings just for individual programs. I'm happy to meet with program staff to review any questions you have. So there's lots of ways to get support. So please reach out, and we'll be happy to help.